Detroit Renegades and LG Evil.
ZP, you asked me if I was superstitious, and I'm not, but I am a little bit stitious.
How so?
Michael Scott quote. Sorry, it's from The Office. Been watching The Office a little lately. Good stuff there.
I did hear that this morning as well. I was like, that is definitely the Office theme going on.
Yeah, I binged some of The Office. I've seen the whole series. It's a comfort show. You know, I'm out of my element here. I'm in a new city, so anything you can to provide a little bit of comfort. And Michael Scott generally makes me chuckle.
That is your security blanket.
It is. The Office is my security blanket, which is a weird sentence to say. However, we are here on Hollywood in our last set of the night, one of the last sets in all of OCS. Renegades versus LG Evil. LG Evil, who has been nearly unstoppable this whole tournament, but as you mentioned, looking much more mortal lately. Renegades is a dangerous team because when they do go off, they can go absolutely off.
I am a little bit worried here already looking at this defense coming out here from Renegades, because I will say that as great as Jesus has been, Roadhog, to some extent, has not really been his bread and butter. If he has a weak hero in his pool, it has been more towards the Hog. So for Renegades, they are going to need it to be a little bit better coming out from there, as LG Evil does come in with their standard setup, which will be a 3-2-1 offense with Jake freelancing.
Absolutely, and Jesus on the Roadhog usually is just a sign that they're trying something new and different. I think it is a misuse of his skills and abilities, but we'll see. He can play it. It's okay, but it's not his best, as you mentioned. Mangachu up top trying to not get evicted. He did see a Roadhog coming around. They're going to have to stay out of those hook sight lines as he gets some damage in. Jake dives in on the Genji, but a soldier with a biofield down, not a target that you want to go after.
Jake really couldn't do much there, but Juvenile gets caught out. He's a little bit far up, is punished, and LG Evil coming back onto that point. Good health here. They're getting out-poked a decent amount. We'll see how this works down. Rob 420 already with the nano boost on the super. That is his safe spot. Rolling in, trying to make more space here. Doesn't get as much for it as you might think, but it's still good trade-outs here for LG Evil as they get more people onto the point.
Kyle is fully charged up, getting some good damage here now on the Zarya, and that is a couple late kills that come from Jesus's primary, and that should be enough to push LG Evil back. Jake dies late.
Strong showing from Kyle to clean up that fight. Got plenty of high energy, got 3 kills towards the very end, and we didn't really know what to expect going in, but for now, pretty good resume to start things out.
Unable to evict Mangachu from Cafe that entire time. They only send Jake after him a couple times. He might need to send more, because Soldier with a biofield, very difficult to take down.
Well, speaking of Kyle here, we're going to see if he can land pay dirt here with a Graviton. Jake, of course, might be looking to deflect it. Haven't seen too many of those in recent times. Jake, he can drop that grab early on, drops 3, and Renegades right there for the throw through as Juvenile takes down 3 with ease.
Just a beautiful fight right there. The economy worked out well for them too. They did end up using a sound barrier and a whole hog in there, but still pretty good fight for the Renegades there, as 2 minutes now remain on this defensive effort for Renegades, and LG Evil coming out a bit flat. We are entering the ultimate phase of the game for them, though. They could throw a lot at this fight, but caught out early is super.
Juvenile with the gambling Earth Shatter comes up 7 there, takes down 2 immediately with the aid of Jesus, and that's about as swift as it might be. Now, going to this next fight, it's really a tale of 2 combinations. On one hand, you have Nano Visor for Mangachu. On the other hand, you have Nano Blade for Jake. So this is where Jake needs to come in, where he has been having a little bit of struggles recently, and get on the Mangachu 76, who admittedly, while has trouble bursting things down, Mangachu's pretty good about the way he uses ultimates at 76. So here comes Jake, diving in, looking for this early pickoff. Gonna get hooked in instead. 31 HP. The Nano Blade does not hit the mark, but Mangachu's down as well. Both Nano combinations out of this fight. 5 versus 5. Super. Swing the hammer going in. Graviton in here from the side of LG Evil. Pulls in 2. Fall through halfway there. As Vol now getting into the backside, has 90 energy, gets more cleanup towards the very end. Counter Graviton in here by Kyle, but he's quickly running out of teammates to help him out.
He's all alone, can't provide his own follow-through on that one, and he will be found out behind the dumpster and put down back there. They are trying to reinforce here still, trying to be very scrappy on the point. This is something the Renegades will always do. If someone's alive, they're going to be running onto the point. Mangachu unable to bring that one from a team. I will give Super some credit there. He was trying to charge in, got knocked back, but hit a fadeaway fire strike into that grab that did a lot of the early damage.
Well, the tanks for both teams have been having a great game here so far. I still think Jake's struggles apparently are still a thing right now, and so are Mangachu's with Soldier. Both of them getting very little done in that fight, and not even because they really canceled out on each other directly. So, see how it goes going into the street space here, where this is going to be more even than it really ought to be. But, oh, Jake finds the Ana killing Shiraki immediately, and now suddenly options are for LG Evil at 1 HP. Farewell, Jake.
Will go down, and the Sound Bearer now on the defense to try to take this fight. A nice hook does come down, but Mangachu able to avoid that one, sprints out of it. They're trying to get something going. The Earth Shadow comes out on the cart from Super, and he's able to get one. There's a pickup onto the Roadhog, who's going to live. No, not yet.
No, just a little bit durable. One more smack of the hammer before finally falling to his demise. So,
look at the cart. There's a hog getting pushed down the street.
I mean, his name is Roadhog, just people didn't realize what it truly meant.
It's just a little run over. It's still good. It's still good.
All right, so next fight here, Vol holding on to the Graviton. We'll see what he grabs here early on. Up and on the high ground. I don't think LG Evil wants to fight this too much until they're actually near the payload, but Vol now rejoining his team. Looking for the Graviton to set this up, but no, taste the dirt instead. Juvenile, a nice Earth Shatter to open things up. Not gonna let Vol get the engage he's looking for as Kyle piles on. And even though Renegades fighting back, or we see LG Evil playing back a little bit, Renegades with a very good initiation that should play most of this fight and questioning the late Earth Shatter there from
he's still in on this fight, though, not giving up. They're going to boost him to make sure it comes through. Super will eventually pick up Mangachu. Now he's going to be taking a nap as he waits for reinforcements from his team, but now reinforcements coming out for Renegades as well. So an undecisive fight. Super's still in here the entire time, and these tanks have been going at it. That is like the third time that they've charged into each other and both dropped, but that's a huge grab.
It's a big grab, but there's no fall through there. Kyle died for it. He overextended, gets punished by Vol, and suddenly the door is open for LG Evil to really take advantage of this momentum. That's a problem for Graviton. You still have to make sure that your team is there and can immediately help you.
That's 2 in a row, and you could probably chalk that up to being new to the roster. A beautiful hook from Train is going to grab Trulaki. Now they're getting bullied out in this corner. Going to be difficult for them to come back and even present a decent fight. They're not going to. They're going to back off to avoid split spawns, knowing that second is all but over. It is.
So Renegades kind of struggling here to reclaim their defensive posture. LG Evil coming back in on momentum. Here comes Super, dying to back, holding on to Earth Shatter. Mangachu drops down, gets slept. Only gets one with the Nano Visor early on here, so still options for LG Evil to win this fight. Super, late Earth Shatter, gonna knock down 3. He comes right back in, and LG Evil has turned this fight back to their advantage, and I gotta say, an excellent sleep dart by Rob420 to just end Mangachu's threat there.
If you are a fan of Reinhardt play, you are in for a treat on this set. Juvenile can be a little riskier player, but he's been finding pay dirt tonight. Super again with a huge Earth Shatter going into this. They have Nano Blade and Grab. They could easily close this out.
A lot of ultimates up here for LG Evil, a lot of threats. This is their best opportunity. Jake diving in deeper, looking for the Ana. Baits out the sleep, I guess, but gets very little done. Jake does get one towards the very end, but it's a mostly wasted Dragon Blade. 5 versus 5 here on the point. Graviton is in for LG Evil, and the Graviton lets him pick up one more. They're not getting the most out of their ultimates here just yet, but they are getting kills slowly, which is enough in this situation. Renegades should have some options here for stall, but they have to be careful. They do need to back up a little bit because now it's starting to get split spawned way out of control.
Another visor from Mangachu will come down. He will get the boost. Train does give his life for it, still trying to get some decent damage out here. Vol very low. Vol will go down as well. That is 2 tanks now down for LG Evil as Super comes in. We'll take out Mangachu. Super is having a great game, but it's all alone. He gets another kill.
Super piling on, getting the support from the back. It's Rob420 that has his lifeline, just throwing every dart into him. Jake right now looking for a big claim towards the back. There's one. Dash resets down the table. Dragon Blade in and on the way. 4 kills here from LG Evil, and they almost have this payload to its final destination as Super just clears out so much space around the cart at the very end.
He's that great mix of aggression and shielding up and his sustainability. That was a great game from Super on the Reinhardt, hitting enormous Earth Shatters towards the end. So we'll see if Renegades can match that distance beat. Only 22 seconds left on the clock for Evil, but Renegades has to complete the entire map. Not something you always see on Hollywood.
Well, Hex, we're talking about it a lot in game. Let's bring it back to you again. Jesus on the Roadhog, were you convinced?
No, I don't know why you run him on the Roadhog and not something like a Tracer, and I think they're just trying to force him into a composition. We've said before that Jesus on the Roadhog always seems to be the 4th or 5th best option for Renegades. I don't know why they would come out with him on that composition. It was okay. I don't think it's anything really Jesus' fault. Again, I just don't think using him to his best ability. He's ascended to one of the top DPS players in North America.
I will note, though, that I'm actually very bullish on Kyle after seeing that last game because, yeah, he did have a bad graviton towards the end of second, which probably cost them the second point. But on the same note, that's also something that's born out of team coordination.
Yes.
Not playing with Renegades as much. His actual mechanical play on Zarya, his ability to get charge very rapidly, and his ability to control the fight, get a whole lot of gravitons, it was very good across the board. So, for Renegades, they might have struck gold with Kyle. I'm cautiously optimistic about him for the rest of the series.
He looked very good. He had several gravitons up, and that's a timing issue that you can fix of just when you're using those gravitons. Not like he threw them into defense matrices or anything. And as you mentioned, just mechanically, his Zarya was getting a lot of work done. Rob is going to be up on the perch, at least for now. Sometimes he jumps down from this spot as the defense now solidifies for LG Evil. They are going to run several tanks, and then Jake's going to freelance. 3-2-1 setup for them. And on the offensive side, it seems like Renegades wants to run the exact same composition they ran on the defensive side of things. So Jesus back on the Roadhog.
Well, this is where Renegades are just going to be looking to win shield battles outright and open up the floodgates for Jesus to get up momentum. Didn't quite work out that way the last time, but maybe it'll work out this time as Train goes down immediately. Not the best engage coming out here from LG Evil. 4 versus 4 here. It's getting very scrappy very quickly with both Reinhardt's out, and Jake's still next back here. Nice deflect to not get hit by the hook. But this is a bit of a mess early on, and there will be a respawn advantage for Renegades in just a moment.
One would imagine as they do not keep track of Jake. He comes over the top trying to get the Ana. He's got to get back with his team. Very low on healing. A VOD'S goes down, so it's all on Rob to keep his team alive, but I think they will come out and fight this. Here comes a Blade.
Well, Jake was able to build up the Dragon Blade for it. That could be their hope going back. Gets Sherlocky. Already a Graviton out here from Kyle. Sets up for 3 kills on Renegades, but Jake doing enough to at least stall out here. Even though he gets 3 kills, I don't know if it's enough to pull this back. There's just too many dead members here of LG Evil, and Jake doesn't exactly have a lot of his health. So,
well, here comes a VOD'S who just didn't get the memo that that point was over, so not sure why he's even still fighting out here. There's nothing to gain, only a life to lose, which he does.
Lucio going to be complaining at his agent for sending him to a gig where no one was there.
Fight already over from that side of things. Jesus has built up a whole hog, and Juvenile should be getting his ultimate soon. So this push could continue off the back of the tanks. Jake has had interesting Genji lives. I think it's just almost too much meat on the field.
Well, Jake was doing fine in that last fight, and the problem was more just how they went out a little bit early. And uncharacteristic for the trade, he got picked off early. Now, Mangachu eats an errant Fire Strike, goes down as a result. That's a big turnabout here for LG Evil, who now can go in 6v5. They don't have to worry about the 76, and Jake in particular is liberated here. Oh, what an Earthshatter! 4 getting knocked down. Good night to Renegades. Gonna get fully wiped out here, and LG Evil might give them the complexity treatment in just a moment.
And it seems like they are eyeing up a camp, and yeah, when you get a full team fight like that, you absolutely can. It has been the Rob and Super show for this LG Evil team. Grab comes in.
Full piling on, 3 people in that Graviton as Super goes even deeper. The hammer, so many options to swing. Gonna block the opposing Earthshatter. Super just not caring, and this has been a great game for Super here so far. And that's just being a little bit extra as he blocks the Earthshatter and keeps the pressure on the spawn.
Have to give Rob some credit too, as he's kept Super so alive and healthy and has hit these giant nades into team fights. So this camp already coming out. A whole hog will pop off. They boost the Zarya. Hook breaks 2.0 in action as Soundbearer comes out to try to get out of spawn.
Both teams dropping the beat. LG Evil drops it second, which is usually a bit of an advantage. Super. Earthshatter up here once more. Is he gonna drop the hammer? You see Renegades a little bit split out here. Didn't have a great Earthshatter target, and no, it's going to be 3 members of LG Evil dropping, so Renegades will be able to break the spawn lock, but a lot of time has been burned off the block.
Well, as you mentioned, we are just a little over 3 minutes for them to get second point, but now they're going to get a lot of free push. This is the problem of getting your camp broken, is high ground given up. They are giving up so much free push here. Super still has that Earthshatter though, and I would not bet against him tonight.
The bigger problem is Kyle. Kyle is setting up for the ambushing Graviton here, and that could just ruin LG Evil's day. He's going to drop the Graviton, pulls it at least 4. Here comes the follow through. Super drops the Earthshatter, then try and deal with it, but it's not nearly enough. Not quite on target. 5 versus 4 now in favor of Renegades off of that Graviton, and Jake gets nothing done in the backline.
Dragon Blades have been okay. I just think that there might be a more impactful hero for Jake to be on, especially when you're playing against Zarya with this kind of tracking. He's taken so much damage, maybe not getting all the support he needs because Super is getting a ton of support. Super is going to come back in already at a quarter health though, and he will go down immediately.
don't like this. Do not like this a bit from LG Evil, where they're throwing in probably the most single file stagger I've seen, and everyone just getting murdered as a result. Now they're going to be giving up the last area, or the first area of last year, very quickly. So I think that was a little bit questionable. They also fed more ults to Renegades, but they do have a very good setup here at the end. But Super goes down early, a little bit too far out.
Well, they're hiding. They were trying something weird, as you still have Volt right here, but he's only got a single target.
All right.
What is...
An intimate encounter between Zarya and Roadhog right now in the back, where Roadhog plays a little bit too rough. Zarya out of the fight early on. I think Vol just got stuck there in terms of spawns and wasn't able to get out. So they're not kind of Vol for a while, and this has been a lot of uncontested push here for Renegades.
Absolutely. 3 minutes to close out the map, as that is the task that they have to get done, as LG Evil was able to complete their first attack. A nice hook onto a boosted soldier.
Well, here comes the Graviton as Jake piling through, cutting away all of that meat in that Graviton. So even though Megachu uses Attack Visor, gonna get very little done compared to Jake, who followed through on Vol's Graviton about as well as you can expect. Yes, Jake, you did use a Dragon Blade. Thank you for painting that picture of a Dragon Blade right after.
It's helpful. It's helpful for some of us who like pictures.
Kappa Ross.
Saved. Well, Jake is going to try to get some Shuriken poke in. As I said, the Blades have been good from him so far. The last one definitely there. Jesus and Jur will have ultimates here if they choose to push in, perhaps waiting for Kyle, who's at 90% on his graph.
Evil trying to keep the pressure on here, but Renegades coming right back in with the sound barrier. They want this to be over right now. The Graviton comes in. The fall through is almost there, but only Train and Ana dying in the beginning. LG Evil still backing out, and there's the counter Earth Shower from Super. Gonna knock down 2. It's very close here in the point, and now it's gonna come down to Vol. No, Vol's out of it. This is now the last bit of delay, and not looking great here for LG Evil as Renegades powers right through off of Kyle's Graviton. Now they get it. The cap is in at the very end, and Renegades a little bit ahead of LG Evil here.
Kyle with a lot of nice kills there towards the end. He was again burning down Jake on the Genji. And both teams able to finish the map. Of course, Renegades did it a little bit quicker, so they will have much more time in their bank. LG Evil will get this attack. I think only a minute on the clock for them.
It is going to be only a minute. So Renegades is working with a lot more time, although that can be misleading, where sometimes you can have very good defenses on first that make this minute-and-a-half difference seem less than it actually is. I do think LG Evil had an uncharacteristically bad defense early on point A, where I think it was, of course, Train getting caught out very early. So no matter what happens on LG Evil's attack, I would expect them to come out stronger for the next setup.
They used to be able to bring these fights back that are not happening tonight, which is why you see all of this stagger and the feeding that you're seeing go in, is because they do believe, even a 2v6, that they have a chance in those fights, but obviously did not work. Avast going to point at the very end of first made no sense, and the stagger that came out on second was brutal. He gave up a lot of free space here. As you mentioned, uncharacteristic of LG Evil. They will continue to run the same composition, as will Renegades. LG Evil on the attack, only a minute.
So for LG Evil, their dream scenario here is that they take first very quickly, and they build up a Dragon Blade in the process to go into second for a crazy overtime push. They're not going to have a whole lot of room to work with here should this first defense of Renegades be successful, and I expect Megachu to be under a little bit more pressure. Already getting hit by Jake, and now Jake in or the cafe. Megachu committing even more of the takedown Train, but he's gone. They lose that soldier pressure in or the top. Now it's going to be up to the front line of Renegades to pull this back. 5 versus 4 in their advantage, but Jake already up to 60% on the Dragon Blade.
Jake getting a lot of damage, and Mangachu will be reinforcing this, though, and they don't have the horses to be able to finish this fight. They're going to chase down Avast, who's somewhere off on an island as a Lucio, but he does pull them out of position. Will go down rather late, though. Only 15 seconds left. They can't wait for him.
No, they can't wait for Avast, so they're going to have to win this 5 versus 6, and Juvenile is here with an Earth Shatter that can perfectly counter the Dragon Blade, so even though Jake will have this, we'll see how it works out. Jake moving in, gets a Nano Boost. Earth Shatter falling, and Jake is one of the takers, thrown right to the ground, and yet we see that Jesus is already down here. This is still a winnable fight for LG Evil, and this Dragon Blade now in play. Jake bringing it out. No Nano Boost with it this time. Getting stymied a bit by Kyle. It's a nice shield on the Lucio as Jake gets bullied in the back.
He's getting absolutely pushed out there, but somehow lives through this, still putting a lot of damage onto Juvenile, who will eventually fall. The Train core, or the tank core of Train on the point. They're gonna get this.
And what happened there is that even though Jake was really struggling versus the Lucio and Zarya there, Train made the most of that distraction. Landed hooks, landed secondary fire with a scrap gun, and opened up the fight. So multiple threats on LG Evil, and sort of what we were talking about in the pre-game analysis, Train is very much able to bring these fights back.
Absolutely, and everyone on this LG Evil team will have chances to win fights for their team, and though Jake is maybe underperforming from what we've seen out of him, the distraction he's causing is allowing his team to pick it up. One of the big things I've noticed for Renegades is even their giant tank ults, they're not having the coordination to clean them up.
Well, this is the overtime push. Renegades just needs to throw LG Evil off the point. LG Evil cannot get off it. Oh, it's a big earth shatter by Super. Knocks down 3. Here comes LG Evil. This is the overtime push. Who knows when breaks will be applied to this Train, or Train himself, as that's about as decisive as it gets. This is a disaster for Renegades right now, as time has been over for LG Evil for a long time, and yet this payload's still moving.
A lot of progress here with a 1-minute push from LG Evil and no breaks on it just yet. They do also have a couple ultimates going on to this. Another Dragon Blade could be coming out for Jake. He's been building these quickly.
Well, here comes Jake going right to the back, looking for Mangachu. 1 slice, 2. The sound barrier comes up and kind of ruins his day, but still in on Mangachu. Forces Mangachu to spend most of his tac visor getting in on him. Still, 5 versus 5 on the point. The effects of these ultimates have dissipated. Now it's going to be more mechanical, but Train and Rob 420, they're winning these mechanical fights. Train, still a threat here in this fight. The counter graviton comes in from LG Evil. But Renegade's fighting right back. It's very close as Train picks up another 2. Train has been unleashed here. 3 at the very end in a fight that was looking like Renegades might have been able to bring it right back. Oh my goodness. A little bit of stall coming out here from Lucio at the end, just trying to buy time, but we're getting here to this next point. This has been an overtime for so long now, and LG Evil keeping the momentum rolling forward.
Train is having himself a day and a half on Hog. The follow through to some of these ultimates, it was a desperation grab, but only desperate if it doesn't work. They were able to get the right click damage through there, and just the way these ults have been staggered out. Look, Train is going to have whole Hog again. Super again with Earth Shatter. It seems like we just saw these.
Super has been landing good shatter after good shatter. We'll see if he gets it here again. Juvenile has to be watching out for this early on. He's been a little bit too crazy with dropping his shield. The shield is dropped here. Super looking for the opportunity. They're about to break that shield outright, and that hammer is coming down immediately after. And there it is. 3 people knocked down again. Super. He might not be with Hammers Esports anymore, but he still can swing it. 5 versus 5. Mangachu, tac visor has been used. Only used to kill Jake here. And LG Evil, they're still just a dominating presence on the payload. Train, though, finally getting derailed here towards the end. Sound barrier a little bit late here. Now the counter sound barrier out from Renegades as they're swarming over the payload. LG Evil in some trouble.
They had Mangachu slept and he was woken up, but here comes Jake again with the blade to try to bring this back. Super takes out his counterpart again as Juvenile goes down.
All hands on deck here for LG Evil. Contribution coming out from all sides, but with Jesus getting 2 on the cart, Jake not able to get back on there quite in time. Maybe a slight error if you really wanted to nitpick it, but I think it would have been difficult for Jake to hold that back. But overall, a phenomenal overtime push coming out there from LG Evil. And say whatever you want about the time bank difference. It doesn't matter now. Renegades is in a very poor position indeed.
To get that much push off of a 1-minute Hollywood attack is rare, to say the least. Renegades is just not following up on some of the giant plays they are getting. If you look at, we talked about Graf on the first round of Hollywood. This one, it was an Earth Shatter that knocked several down, and they weren't able to clean that up. That is a concern going forward. And it's going to be difficult for them as we do have a pause here. Not sure exactly what's going on. It's not my job. Jake needs a quick pause, I think.
So something is going on here on the LG Evil side. Maybe they just want to dab all that sweat off from how great that last push was. I don't even know.
Well, I mean, I just feel like I got done watching the Train and Super show, and now we're going to see what the next show is. So we're intermission between these two shows. But obviously, you know, everyone on LG Evil contributing. But Train, absolutely going off. And we talk about Jesus playing that Roadhog and how we don't like to see that because we just don't see those same impact plays as consistently. And he had a few hooks, but Train really kept coming in big as we're back.
It just comes down to what we were talking about on the desk, where even when it looks like LG Evil is losing a fight, Train has this uncanny ability to turn losing fights into winning fights, whether he's on D.Va, whether he is on Roadhog. He's a very consistent player in those situations, and it's sort of a backbone to LG Evil that sometimes gets overlooked in favor of the flashier nature of Jake and Super, but you can't take that last round away from him and just how good it really was.
And he does it on all sorts of heroes too. His pool is extremely deep. This entire LG Evil team, they have players who can play almost everything. The only one who's like consistently on what heroes they're on is Robin of Oz, but that is the life of a support. Super reprising his role as the Hammers mascot for LG Evil. And right down to it, we're gonna run a Pharah.
Renegades going to their bread and butter here, where they know they need to not just win, but win big early on here if they want to hope to match payload progress. And Mangachu in the back line. Gotta expect him to go back in soon. Tries to display Super here, and they get Train instead. So Train already out of the fight very early on as Mangachu in over the top. Rocket after rocket getting to the squishy back line. It's a very good opening here for Renegades. Mangachu not able to land these last few rockets. Now under pressure in the back line, is taken down by Jake. So it was a good opportunity for Renegades. They're not able to finish their plate. And now LG Evil could be bringing this right back as Jared finds himself in a very awkward position.
So uncharacteristic from Mangachu. We talked about him being a closer on Pharah. Hitting decisive rockets was not the case there. He'd like to have that life back, as would Jake, who dashes through Kyle's beam. Not the best of ideas, but now they have a player advantage if they can get back and reinforce quickly enough. I don't think they will be able to, though. Super has shattered.
Jake's velocity, or Jake's body had so much velocity there that probably left an imprint on the sidewalk. That was a pretty remarkable Genji death. But Renegades now coming back in. Mangachu holding on to the barrage. He's going to be looked to be sneaky. The rest of Renegades is coming in from the front. Mangachu looking to come in for the side, but there's the Earth Shatter from Super. Gonna knock down 2 immediately, and Mangachu having to play cleanup here, and I think he's done. He doesn't want any more of this fight.
He's got to get out. And Rob had already spotted him out early there. That's why you didn't see him come for the flank. And knowing that Mangachu wasn't with his team opens up the front line to a little bit of play like that. So whenever you're going to fight 5v6 with a flanker out of the fight, you will have the advantage, and LG Evil is a team that is always willing to take a fight, so not going to be too patient there. If they see an opportunity to win a fight, they'll grab it.
30 seconds left to Renegades. This fight must win. Voldo into the back line, gets 3, and the barrage just canceled out by Train. A beautiful D.Va play to protect the Graviton and protect Jake as he went in for the follow-through. This is all sorts of bad for Renegades. They're down to their final 10 seconds. And even if they're able to even touch a point here, it's not looking good. LG Evil has resources to spare.
Well, Train could self-destruct. A lot of things have to happen right, and they don't even get onto the point.
That's not their fault. They just didn't have people able to touch it. That is,
right.
We did not have a spree situation.
Every day with ZP finds a way to bring that up. Even days when we're off or something like that, you know, just living everyday life, he finds an opportunity to bring up spree.
I mean, you know, it's like a situation where Hex leaves out food. I said, Hex, don't be a spree in regards to food. Put that back. So
he's gotten more airtime tonight because we've been running his short, but has not seen actual gameplay.
Where he also just got brutalized in that short. He did not cover himself in glory. Genji, unsurprisingly, won there as well. So,
as a younger brother, I love that short. It makes me happy.
It's good to have fantasies.
Well, let's see what they want to run here on the offense for LG Evil. Wait, no, Renegades.
No, it's LG.
Sorry. So yeah, Renegades will be running their offense here, looking very standard. On composition-wise, I think we have some overlay issues. Either that or my brain is broken. I've been out in Denver for a long time.
Well, you are. I'm not even referencing that. Something about brains and delay. But Renegades right now setting up here on the attack. Mangachu on the Pharah, his bread and butter. He's going to be looking to come in here. A lot of times he does go in from the deep left. This time, going more up the gut. Renegades, they feel they have a bit of advantage. LG Evil push back, and Mangachu just looking for anything here. Can get that rocket deflected early on, but down goes Jake. Takes the next one right to the teeth. And this is a beautiful engage so far here by Renegades, where LG Evil really struggling to throw this back.
hitting rockets. That's the important part of this. He's actually hitting the rockets that he needs to hit this time. The one on Jake was absolutely beautiful, and those Super will get a single kill. It is the Mangachu show as he takes first point for the Renegades.
Mangachu, pretty comfortable in first point in this. No other way of putting it. Great area for Farah. Even better when you can land rockets the way that Mangachu can when he is playing well. And Renegades already jumping on here to this point. LG Evil in a world of hurt here. Here comes a pulse bomb from the back from Jesus. Takes down Super. The pressure unrelenting. This barrage not going to get as much done as Mangachu would have liked because of the Diva play, but every kill going the way of Renegades. LG Evil has been caught with their pants down.
Well, Kyle does use that Dragon Blade as well. Gets a dash reset through, so we are seeing a bit of his Genji right now. 2 ticks already on the board for Renegades. Desperation time as they are not getting a single kill out here. Diva will come out and stall, but you need to start seeing blue in that kill feed. That's a kill from Jake, takes on Mangachu, but they're going to res it immediately.
Renegades is all in here. There's a beta 1 combo. Resurrection into Sound Barrier. Every kill going their way. A little nice flick shot at the very end. And LG Evil, they might have a train on their team, Hex, but they just got run over.
Oh, the license plate on that truck read Mangachu. It's just that simple, though. When he's hitting rockets like that, almost impossible to deal with.
He has good individual rounds.
Yeah.
But when it's time to switch up or when the other team has made adjustments, he will also disappear. So that's the real frustrating part about rooting for Renegades at times, where they have points where you want to love this team, you want to love their contribution, and then they have moments where it's just like, wait, guys, what are you doing? So for Renegades, that was definitely on the upper end of the spectrum to be sure, and LG Evil already in a very deep hole as they're going to be starting their attack here in just a moment.
That was actually faster than the attack we saw Immortals pull off earlier tonight, which is also one of the fastest I've ever seen on Temple of Anubis. LG Evil will be looking for answers here on their attack. Very possible they will run this Widow. And if you're Renegades, do you just run exactly what you ran? I mean, if Mangachu's feeling it right now, it's very clear. It's not the most typical of defensive compositions.
Run it until they prove they can beat it.
Yep.
Full stop.
That has been our philosophy with Farah for a very long time. Of course, now they do have the Widow on it, and Widow is one of the few heroes who can solo a combo.
I do think Mangachu is pretty good about dealing with Widowmakers and being sneaky, although remember what we see a whole lot on Widowmaker on first to begin with, which is that if you dive the Widow deeply, which in this case would be a Farah and Mercy diving on the Widow, you kill Jake. You still have 5 people on the point, and the composition that you have tailored your team around is not there helping you. So Mangachu does have to be careful about how much he commits to get on the Jake, should he in fact be running this Widowmaker.
They are going tank heavy, or just 2 tanks actually, with this composition, none of which are Diva, which might need to change. Vol will switch off last second onto Diva as they spot the incoming rockets from Farah. Now just going for the slow push around the side.
Now for Jake, let's be clear, should he get Mangachu, there is no meatier, heartier prize than that. That is the ultimate. He is under pressure here in the back. It's going to be Kyle that is in the back pressing him, and Mangachu goes down. Train not able to get that early on, and oh, Jake is under a lot of pressure back here.
He is. It's been very difficult for him. Mangachu comes in over the top, will take down Rob. Most of the healing now gone for this LG Evil team, as there goes Lucio as well. Full time to retreat. He's gonna look to see if he can find a Widow up there. They're being very aggressive, pushing LG Evil all the way back to spawn. Super will fall late to Jesus, who's been on this Tracer being a nuisance.
The problem there is that LG Evil was not able to take advantage of so many people going in on Jake.
Yes.
There's 2 people going to backline, but even with that being the case, we saw Mangachu take down Train in that room, and Mangachu was just able to float around because no one could deal with him at that point. That said, next fight underway. LG Evil switching to much more of a dive comp with Jake now in the Genji, and they get 2 very quick kills here. Jesus falling to Ana's Bile Grenade before he can rewind out, but Mangachu, the counter barrage, the equalizer, if there ever was one. 3 versus 3 left in this fight. Mangachu still has the support here from Sherlocky. No resurrection on the menu here just yet, but with Jake going down, they might pull back, but no, Sherlocky is out. The resurrection option no longer a thing. Don't tell that to Mangachu, who's still landing rocket after rocket.
A very important kill onto Sherlocky, but this fight continues to go on. Mangachu now supportless, has to be careful, goes down.
Well, he's out of the fight now, but now he can be brought back. Sherlocky holding on to the rest. He's going to be going for it here in just a moment. So, gotta think Mangachu's going to be brought up before he goes down. No, the resurrection doesn't come out. Mangachu's back in spawn. So, an opportunity here for LG Evil. in this moment. A lot of people went down. Resurrection bringing them back up. Mangachu will be back to fight in about 5 seconds, so we'll see how this window goes. The fight now back to fight 5 as Kyle picks up 2.
These Genjis look great, and that's absolutely what they need on this roster for this composition. Sherlocky will eventually fall to Jake, who's going to get a reset now on his dash. Still have not had a great answer to Mangachu, somewhat just trying to avoid it, which is a possibility to make him your lowest priority, but I don't think you can do that when he's doing this much damage. Train has to be the one to kill him. I don't mind a solo ult period if you have to use it.
Well, Train is almost certainly going to ult to take him out when he's out of position, and here we go. Attack visor comes in pretty early on here. Kyle immediately falling, and Train right now just getting out of the way of that Winston. Not able to do much with the rest of the attack visor, so it's a 1-kill attack visor. Removes Kyle from the equation as we are now in a 5v4 as Sherlocky falls once more. LG Evil with a lot more momentum into this push.
Both supports now down, but Rob does fall to Jesus and Juvenile combined on him in pack room. They're still looking to get a little bit more. It's been brawly and back and forth. A pulse bomb will send Winston home to the moon.
Oh my goodness. Talk about Sudoku pack there if there ever was one. Some say Winston's still flying to this day, but the smoke is settling here, and LG Evil able to get the most here on the fight. They will get point A, but it's certainly a much slower time than we saw from Renegades on their attack. That said, they're gonna have some momentum going into the last here. Mangachu swapping off on the Winston. The days of Fair are over. And now, Jake with the Nanoblade up and on the mid.
Well, this defense very common. You add as many tanks as possible, and then you just let Tracer clean up on the defense. Jake's comes in with the blade, does end up taking down Jer.
Bunker kill up from Nanoblade, that is going to be it. It's not the most valuable, but they are keeping Renegades off the point right now. But they just lose Rob 420 in the back. This is where Jesus can be so good in these skirmish situations. They're gonna have to deal with him. And for now, it's not super decisive as Jesus takes down 2. Now it's actually over for this push.
Jesus is one word we use a lot when we're discussing him because it is just miracle play after miracle play. And some
all right.
team action there as Kyle will eventually bunny blast down the bowl.
I hate it when divas fight.
Yeah, why can't they just get along?
Well, we're going to be seeing LG Evil regroup here. Not a whole lot of ultimates left in their favor for this next fight. Of course, both teams relatively drained, so there's an opportunity, but LG Evil's going to have to really mechanically outplay Renegades here as Mangachu had Primal Rage and goes Orb, now Soldier?
It's interesting.
I'm not a fan of this. You still had the Primal Rage up. It's great for defense. And they lose Jesus immediately, so that switch up could cost Renegades pretty heavily here. I'm not a fan.
Mangachu has been unable to get out of spawn now since. He's just getting blocked in and killed by Jake, although Jesus trying to do Jesus things, takes down Super. Jake in here now piling on with the Reaper.
Why?
You should, I wish the camera was on him right now.
You have Primal Rage for the next...
Is Primal Rage good at stalling out last?
Some might say it is, yes. Well, LG Evil able to take advantage of that ill-advised swap by Mangachu, and they take that fight rather decisively.
The only thing I can think of is that he saw the Reaper coming in. And Winston v Reaper, despite what the short would tell you, is generally Reaper favored. I agree with you. I'm just trying to figure out some rationale.
That's fine. Swap after the Primal Rage. Your team had no defensive ultimates going in there. You were the only one who...
It didn't work out. It definitely did not work out. I do like the Reaper switch, though, too, as Jake was having a little bit of problems with the Winston, and then Reaper is so good at snowballing. That's something we've seen out of Team Liquid on Anubis, and they've had great success with it, so LG Evil studying that playbook will finally get it to success. However, all right, regardless of anything that happened, 6 minutes on the clock. 4 Renegades, and only a little shy of 3 for LG Evil.
I'm glad you're talking right now, Hex. ZP.exe is rebooting. Stand by. Oh, well, we are getting into our next round table Anubis. Renegades, at the very least, still with a rather big advantage here. That's going to be them on the defense once more. We'll see if LG Evil has a bit more success. This time, they're not even attempting the Widowmaker. They're going in with hard dive early on. And they're going to be challenging this rather directly.
Well, Mangachu had a great performance on the boosted Pharah last time does find targets all alone. Rob doing his best to keep himself alive, uses nade, uses pack, is able to get out for the time being. But Mangachu doesn't give up on fights like that.
No, he doesn't, and Renegades is trying this out a bit more effectively, and I gotta say for LG Evil, probably stop going in through the left. There's too much room for Mangachu to work there, and he's been very clearly effective in shutting them down when they try and go through that angle.
Sherlocky taking a lot of damage from this soldier, but Jesus comes in to eliminate Train. I mean, yes, Mangachu is in the air, but Jesus is just wrecking these ground forces.
It's a great setup for Renegades, where Jesus is doing work on the ground, Mangachu doing work into the top, stopping that building from being a viable staging point here for LG Evil. And LG Evil, they don't have a whole lot of time here, a minute 45, so a hold here on first, very much in play for Renegades if they do this right. Jesus getting engaged on, doesn't get a chance to throw out the pulse bomb early on, and with Kyle already down, it's a 65 opportunity. I'll look at that in the back, the barrage hits. Train already out of this fight, so Renegades striking right back as, though under pressure, Jesus doing a lot of work in and around the point.
Jake's gonna try to get in here on the Genji. They need a fight from him as far as getting dash resets go. There is one kill, but he has lost 2 of his tank supports. There is the primal rage that will end his life from Juvenile. Mangachu still alive on this Pharah and waiting for his mercy. Get Sherlocky back in the fight here. Vulcan hit a self-destruct. There are gonna be a lot of ults on the table for this next push, but we are under a minute.
They're going to have a lot of ultimates, but if they don't take down Sherlocky immediately, I don't think this is going to go well. The Resurrection is going to be up and available here, as well as the Dragon Blade. So a lot of ways that LG Evil loses this fight. They need the early Dragon Blade or the early Visor to be very successful here. It needs to be 2-0, 3-0 to make this work. But Dragon Blade comes up from Kyle first. Going into the room, trying to make it a party, and ends up getting just dunked on instead. Super takes him down. The counterblade out here from Jake. Resurrection is in here from Renegades, but every kill going the way of LG Evil early on is Super gladly welcomes people into the room. He's having a blast.
Nice early kills to force out that Resurrection. Now it is just Kyle on the point, who goes down yet again. And this will be LG Evil taking first point here. Jesus will pulse bomb for this next defense. We'll see what Mangachu wants to go to now. They do favor this very heavy tank composition at last, but this is the counter read already. Jake on the Reaper.
Jake, and Reaper should be getting used on last more often than it is anyways. I mean, the times have been used in the OCS, it's been effective. Teams just don't use it that often. But here comes LG Evil, down to their final 30 seconds. When they're rotating in here without a whole lot of delay. Early Earth Shatter in, and it's a nice engage here from Super, cleaving through 3 people. Soundbear gonna neutralize most of it, but I do like the attempt. Renegade still losing the poke war here somewhat heavily, but Jesus with the Pulse Bomb, D-Max Diva, and the counter engage here is afoot as Renegades moving right back in. Already 2 kills early on, and though Jake's trying to bring this back, very outnumbered here.
It's going to be difficult. Primal Rage will get popped. Taking out Jesus is a big deal.
It's a huge deal, and now they're piling on. It was a sleep dart that set that up, so Jake, working in tandem with Rob 420 to light up this point, gets another kill on the Kyle, the Reaper that would not die. Light Nanovisor now coming out here from Mangachu, trying to make things happen and just gets stymied by Vol. The defensive matrix in his face as Jake is getting every kill. The Reaper working out so well in the end.
They did such a great job of making sure that that Tactical Visor got nothing. They dropped the bubble, they put the Diva on, and Death Blossom will be available if they need to use it, but just hitting primaries, they will knock the Lucio off of the point. So snowbally.
And they have a Death Blossom here to be the finisher. Now they're even going to Amanda Stallings. Mangachu swapping to that in the end. Only 1 tick here so far for LG Evil, so they don't have this here just yet, despite how dominant it's been. But look for the spinning to occur as Jesus is immediately taken out. The Death Blossom traded for Tracer's life. Soundbearer in late, and LG Evil going to end with 4 points as their time expires. Pressure now on Renegades to get through and complete Anubis once more.
They just completely shut down that Tactical Visor. It was on a nice flank, the Winston bubble, but then they knew that that wasn't going to be enough to deal with all of it. Sending the Diva there late, they almost got the Lucio, but to completely shut down an ultimate combo like that with just abilities is so big.
Now, let's be clear here. Despite some of the misplays by Renegades in regards to unexplained switching, and despite LG Evil making a better run of it there, Renegades still has a lot of time to work with in this next push, and they completed their first attack lightning fast. So, even though you can never take capping last on Anubis as a granted, with 6 minutes and 18 seconds, Renegades has a very good chance of at least making this a tie. And then, time-wise, there's still a good chance that they'd have extra time to make a final attack on to last. So, LG Evo hardly out of the woods here, despite a pretty impressive second attacking round.
You are correct in that, and Jesus, with the compliment of getting solo Death Blossom, they really started to focus him down because Tracer is one of the best heroes to try to bring those fights back. Generally able to get a pretty nice kill-to-death ratio on Tracer. This is the same defense that, or the same offense that Renegades ran before. Jesus not going to be trying out the Widow. They're going to go very divey here, and really just about Mangachu's execution. He executed great on his first leg.
My ultimate is charged.
Renegades looking for this early fair engage and went up the gut last time, and appear to be going up the gut this time. No mercy in Mangachu's body as he finds Wild 420 immediately, treating him to that early rocket. 5 versus 5 the point, but this time the counter pressure on the Mangachu far more effective. It's Jake and Vol getting in there, and Jake actually getting a bit out-tooled there by the Lucio Endure, so he backs off from that fight, which usually should go Genji's way. That said, LG Evil still very much in control of the momentum on this point and should be able to force Renegades back.
So many fights are happening inside the defense matrix. Just very, very good diva play. This time it's not even Train, it's Vol. His Train has been on anti-Mangachu duty. And probably for the benefit of Rob, because Rob has been the primary target every single time Mangachu dives, and he's done a lot to try to save his own life, but it's simply too much to overcome a damage-boosted Mangachu hitting rockets on you.
It's a scary double threat here, though, because even if you're looking at Mangachu, you still have an unchecked Jesus in and about. Still, though, they are looking to get on Mangachu here early on. Dragon Blade on the way out from Kyle. Takes down Train immediately. Mangachu, plenty of room to fly in the sky now because of that 76 Nana being down. And just about every kill going away from Renegade. So Kyle just enabling Mangachu to get those cleanup kills.
They had the flank spotted. They had a Genji and a Winston over there ready to deal with it. So cerebrally, they understood what was going to happen to them, but unable to finish the kill. Sherlocky got very low in that fight, but unable to get that Tracer, or that Mercy rather, down. She will regen the health back. Now they've got a pretty nice advantage going here towards last.
So if LG Evil wants to win Temple of Anubis outright, they must now hold for 5 whole minutes. Easier said than done. They do have ultimates to fight this early pushback. They drop the sound barrier early. Jesus, dropping a present in the back. Doesn't connect, but it's for the barrage that does connect. 5 versus 5 here, but Jake, the counter Dragon Blade coming in, takes down 2, now 3, slicing through the Renegades backline. Renegades not gonna get this on the very first push.
Rob is getting solo ulted every time anyone sees him. Mangachu did come up over the top and barrage him. They tried to hit him with a pulse bomb. They are really prioritizing taking down the Ana, which is the correct choice. But they're bringing it back. Was LG Evil, the Dragon Blade, was able to take down the combo. So, you know, you mentioned 6 minutes, 5 minutes, but each one of these attacks generally takes a minute and they have no progress. Now we're at 4 minutes. If they can prioritize taking down Sherlocky, not allowing Reses to come in, that's exactly what they're doing. They do a lot of damage to the Mercy. No kill yet, though.
No kill here just yet as Jake gets the backline. Sherlocky already out of it. Don't have to worry about the resurrection. It's 4-0 for LG Evil here. So the counter dive being very effective. And I will say this from LG Evil, I do like that they're not going to the Sombra. Even though they've played it before, I don't think they've usually played the Sombra super well in defense. They're just powering through Renegades right now, and it's a much better look.
Sombra not as good against the combo either, and yes, Genji is a ground-ish hero, but he's going to be able to at least dash through the skies, hit those long-range shurikens, put enough damage onto the Mercy and Pharah to make their lives less than ideal. All set up now. Train is looking for a flanking pulse bomb. He's going to have his team call out targets for him when he sees them. I mean, ideally, you'd hit part of this combo with it, but there's a sound barrier.
Sound barrier's in. Mangachu looking for the first kill. Takes down Train, slam dunking him with the damage-boosted rocket. 1 rocket, all it takes. 3 kills here from Renegades, make it 4. Now for Evil, this is where, how do they stall this out here? They're in a very rough position, but you can stall it out when not everyone dies at the same time, and they do find a way on the Juvenile, who's immediately res. Sherlocky not wanting anything to do with not having full strength in the point. So Renegades, great positioning here. We'll see if they can keep it up.
Well, they've taken down 1. That is part of their healing down. Now that's all of their healing down as Jake comes in with the blade. No more heals for Renegades. Only 3 alive. Any damage will be permanent.
Jake had a rough start to the day, but he has had a great Temple of Anubis. Consistently good Dragon Blades. picking up 2, 3, 4 people at a time and just crushing the spirit of Renegades here, where they have to leave with only a single tick.
Rough for them, and now all the ults were used. As you mentioned during that fight, a solo ultimate onto a Winston, something you don't generally see, but they went all in on that fight. They're going to have to push into a sound barrier. Train is going to have his up as well. Mangachu needs to hit some entry rockets, get a nice kill to start it off with this damage boost.
Mangachu just looking for the early pickoff, supported by Sherlocky, and finds Super pretty early on, but Juvenile falls. They're down to Winston early in this fight. They're not going to be able to res it. Sherlocky isn't there yet. And LG Evil going pretty hard on the double dive here as they use the sound barrier to go deep into Renegade's backline. But Jesus, making this a fight still.
Making it a fight, but it does feel over already for Renegades. Jesus still on the point, D-Mex Vol, but look, Jake's not even looking for him. Jake's looking to chase down kills. Finds Lucio out here, but Lucio will get saved. Jake back to his team, also staying alive. I think she's got this barrage up. Sherlocky's still a bit away from a resurrection. So it depends if he gets it during this fight, if he can go all in on it.
We'll see. This is one of the very last good opportunities for Renegades, so time has quickly gotten away from them. They're down to their final minute, final 2 pushes, arguably last push. As here comes Kyle, moving in. Barrage coming in from Mangachu and does not connect, does not get what he's looking for. Kyle's still holding on to his Dragon Blade, but if he used it now, it'd probably be wasted. So Renegades probably gonna have to back out of this one and look for one final fight.
Yeah, they need to die. It's been over since that combo went down. They're just looking for a little bit of trades. The good thing is, Sherlocky went down so early that he's going to have Barrage up. They will also have Sound Barriers, so that support ultimates are definitely in place, and there's not much for LG Evil to be able to deal with that.
Final fight of the round about to be underway. A lot to be said for Renegades here in their ultimate power going in. If Sherlocky can stay alive, he can definitely put them over the top here. So LG Evil, they need to neutralize him early. Still, the fight engaging right now. Sound barrier setting the stage. Kyle cutting them down. Finds a VOD'S immediately. LG Evil doing a good job of staying out of the line of fire here. They rope and dope it back, and Train is able to get the Sherlocky. The resurrection potential is gone. Now, they're gonna have to win the rest. Relatively straightforward. Not easy to do here. Jake still up and around. Super able to get on the Jaren, even though they're both trading out. Sherlocky's not there. We're in overtime. This is a very good setup here for LG Evil if they can just get a few more picks.
There will be no healing. Both supports are down. However, this is going on so long that Sherlocky might be able to get in here with
13
the
health.
resurrection.
13 health, still alive. Just shoot him. Stop blocking. Mangachu falling at the very end. Lived longer they should have as Train blows up too. Hero Tracer play coming in. The kill feed now lighting up for LG Evil.
Sherlocky down again.
And Renegades might have thrown this one away as Sherlocky not able to stay alive. Overtime starting to tick down. And that's LG Evil fighting it back. Forget everything you knew about that early round there from Renegades because it did not matter in the end.
Trade.
4-3.
Defensive Tracer so good on these last points of assault. You see them rolling through there. Pulse Bomb up so quickly. And Train taking down Sherlocky, the times that he did was so impactful. You cannot lose your Mercy like that.